call this meeting to order. Today is our regular meeting, November the 13th, 2025, and it's 6 p.m. I want to welcome all of you all. Thank you all for being here. And we'll start with the meeting with invocation, followed by the pledge of allegiance. Heavenly Father, we thank you for all you have given us and the many blessings in our lives. We ask for your guidance and strength. Show us the way and fill us with courage and wisdom. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Again, thank you for being here, and we will establish a quorum. Ms. Councilwoman Marissa Jimenez is here. Councilman Mario Borones is here. Mr. Lambert, J. Lambert is here. Councilwoman Francis Flores is here. Councilman Felix Cantu is here. And I am here, Roya Morales Cantu, Mayor of the City of Floresville. Do I have any citizens' comments at this time? Go ahead, sir. Just state your name, please.
Evening. I am Master Rusty Duncan. I'm the owner and master instructor of Duncan Martial Arts and Fire Truck and Tumbling, right up the street in Floresville. This is my son Blake Duncan, he's one of my Taekwondo students. And this is my daughter Skylar Duncan, she's one of my gymnastics and tumbling students. We're here to invite y'all January 17th to our 4th annual Korean Day at our school. They're going to pass out flyers, so y'all don't mind. On January 17th, we have over 60 youth Koreans coming in from South Korea. And they put on a pretty big performance, along with our students, other martial arts, and dance studios here in the county. And we have a great time. They put on, I know y'all came last time. We're here to ask again, the honorary citizenship paper that y'all provided for them. They loved it. You know, gave us coins and stuff. That was really great. If we could do something like that again from the city of Floresville. After that, we take them around town, we show them around, take pictures and so on, and they just love it. We just wanted to give y'all the invitation, invite all of y'all to come out. I know some of y'all went, and I believe y'all had a great time last time. This time it's going to be bigger and better. And then we perform on the 19th for the San Antonio Spurs. So it's a great time for these Koreans when they come and visit us, and I do know that they present the city of Floresville with something as well. So if y'all come and accept that, that would be really great. So we'd love to have y'all, and we just wanted to invite y'all real quick.
Thank you so much for the invite, and thank you for bringing this to the city of Floresville. I really enjoyed it last year, and I hope everyone gets to go. And what time is it going to be? Do you know the time already?
We're going to eat at 11:30, and then all the shows will start at 12:30. I believe that's when we will start the process for the honorary citizenship papers and the gifts and stuff like that we provide to them. And then I know they honor y'all with stuff, so and they'll just kind of follow right after that. So I believe it says 12:30. Am I correct? 12:30. So if y'all want to come out and enjoy some food and then enjoy the shows, it'd be really great to have all y'all.
Thank you.
All right, thank y'all.
Best of luck. Any more citizens' comments? Okay, moving on to, do I have any comments from you, Ms. Flores? Yes,
Yes, my comment is, for the next agenda, I would like to add a TMO presentation so I can update the council from the TMO business meeting that occurred during the annual conference.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Mr. Moro?
Yes, I'd like to take this time to thank again, Marisa Jimenez for representing TML, being the president. It was an honor, to be out there at the TML conference. And, for this young lady to represent TML, it's a great accomplishment for the city of Floresville. I know the council that was here before didn't want her to, for some reason, didn't have the votes for her, but when we came in, we believed in her, and I just want to congratulate her again for being the president of TMO. And also, the good things have been happening here in Floresville. Also, the Veterans Car Show that went on last week, I enjoyed it out there. The market days, it was nice. I usually just go a couple hours, but this time I stayed out there the whole time, from 9 to 2. Went to eat here and there, and bought pickles and all kinds of stuff. So, good thing I had my bank with me, and my wife. But it was a good thing for the. I want to thank all the volunteers that put up all this together. I know Michelle was there, Charlotte, and Krista, and all that. So it's something that I guess the FEDs, everybody works together. And that's something. It's a good accomplishment that every month, I think it's the second Saturday, that we try to do that for the people to come out. So I think it's getting bigger and better. So I had a great time there too. Also, with the music in the park was a success too. It was nice out there Saturday for Gerard Jimenez getting together there at the park. And also, I wanted to recognize too the Mighty Tiger Band that 4 years in a row, 4-peat, they've been to state, and that's a big accomplishment. Sometimes I read the paper, try to open the paper, and I see nothing about the band, but I mean, I'm not here to knock on anybody, but I just want anybody that's involved with the Mighty Tiger Band for the past 4 years, and forever, whoever's been participating. But I know that Margaret had told me that for 33 years, the city of Floresville, the band hadn't stayed in 33 years since she was in the band. So to make it, I was a little upset that we didn't place, but to go to the state champion competition, it's a great thing for the city of Floresville. So I just wanted to let the city of Floresville is being put in the map, and we're going to do greater things. And thank you for this time, and thank you for everybody that's out there that get involved with the city. I like to see the city hall, packed up like this, that so people can be knowing what's going on with the city. And thank you all too for being here.
Yes, I would like to piggyback off of Mr. Baronis and congratulate the Vanilla Mood Marketing in conjunction with the FEDC, in conjunction with the City of Floresville for doing such a great job with the deal that they have on every other Saturdays. It's wonderful that so many small businesses are able to get out and promote themselves, and that's how this city's run, is off small business. So just to be able to continue to promote that is wonderful. So congratulations to everybody.
I do want to congratulate the Floresville Food Pantry. I know that they received funds today that stemmed from, the market in Floresville this weekend, which is awesome. So thank you to everybody who participated in the market this weekend, and kudos to the Food Pantry. And Mayor, I know that's near and dear to your heart, so congratulations.
Yes, I want to thank all the veterans that live in our community. We just celebrated Veterans Day, and I just want to give a shout out to them.
Okay, I also have a comment. I want to invite everyone for the Floresville third annual diabetes awareness walk, which is gonna be November the 22nd. And it starts at 8 o'clock, and it's gonna be at the Floresville Sports Complex. That's behind the Lotto de Leon Event Center. And if you have any questions, or you can contact Ms. Beatriz Jimenez at 830-216-0114 for more information. Also, I want to thank Krista Scott from the Floresville Market and the FEDC for their donations to the Floresville Food Pantry. It is very much appreciated. And also to all our community for your generous donations. The Floresville Food Pantry has been struggling trying to keep canned goods on the shelf. Last Thursday, they ran out of food by 10:30, and we had 300 families were served. Today, 336 families were served, and but we had enough. Again, thank you for your donations, and special thanks to all our volunteers that volunteer helping there at the food pantry, because they do a lot. So again, thank you to our community for helping us out. I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving before I forget. So anyway, y'all have a happy Thanksgiving. This will be the only meeting in November, as far as I know, not unless we have, there's an emergency one or something. So anyway, with that said, we will continue on our, I was gonna ask the lawyer if we could skip all business for a minute. I have several questions on that, so I'm gonna go ahead and skip that and go to the presentation. Is that allowed?
Yeah, you skipped the public hearing already, so yes, you can do that.
Oh, well, let me go back.
We can do the public hearing later if the item.
No, I didn't see that. I have a lot of writing in here, so thank you for mentioning that. Public hearing, and this is gonna start at 6:12. A request to rezone a property from residential single-family R1 to business B at 1295 Hospital Boulevard. Do I have any questions or citizens' comments on this item? None? Then we will close it at 6:12. Okay, now I will skip item 3, old business, and move on to presentation and discussion. Quarterly investment report. Valley View Consulting.
We have Jamie Hobbs here with the county. Good evening, Mayor and Council.
I have a,
We're going to go through the quarterly investment report tonight from September 30th, 2025. Since this is fiscal year end, first item we'll discuss is just the annual comparison. The annual comparison for the fiscal year. September 30th, 2025 ended with $13,074,000 in the portfolio. That was a decrease of about $8.2 million from last fiscal year. The majority of that was spent on your bond project, or the bond funds were spent for your projects that you had throughout the year. The fourth quarter yield was 4.02 in comparison to 5.02 from last year. A full percentage point down, but that's very much to be expected with the actions of the FOMC over the past year. You had fiscal year earnings of $878,000 approximately, which was down about $400,000 from the previous year. In looking at the portfolio from a quarter-over-quarter perspective, the quarter, you had about $5.75 million spent for this quarter, ending September 30th. And again, the yield ended at 4.02 compared to 4.21 for last quarter. Current quarter earnings were $182,000, again for that fiscal year to date of about $878,000. Just a quick economic overview. We did have the Congress vote to open the government back up, so we'll start to see the results of that. One of the things where that affects what we present to you guys is that with the Bureau of Labor Statistics and some of the other agencies that provide economic data, they haven't been providing that throughout the last 40-ish, 45 days or so. And so we've been getting that information from public venues. Now we'll start to open that up, and it will provide that regular governmental data as well. And one of the entities that uses that the most is the FOMC. They use that for numbers on inflation, they use that for numbers on employment, and that's how they make the decisions for the interest rates that are out there. They did meet in October and decided to drop the rates by 25 basis points. So right now we're at 3.75 to 4. Prior to the government reopening, it was at about a 65% chance that we would see another drop at the December meeting that's coming up on the 9th and 10th. After they voted to open the government back up, it dropped to less than 50%. So as we see everything open back up and as we start to see the numbers come back out, we'll see the market's anticipation and projections change during that time before we get to the meeting and announcement on the 10th. But it is still expected that sometime between the December and January meeting, there will be another 25 basis point drop. And so what that means is we'll continue to see cash rates and CD rates come down from where we've seen them over the past 2 years. And looking at the portfolio, the holdings, you have interest-bearing accounts and money market accounts with Wells Fargo. You have a money market mutual fund that is holding a good portion of the account, Texas Class Pool, and then we have 3 CDs as of the end of September that were laddered out over the course of the next 12 months. Since then, the first one listed there, Banco ZK CD, that actually matured here in October, and so a good portion of that was reinvested to continue to keep those funds in fixed investments, to hold those hold those interest rates as we move through the next period. From a composition point, you're at about 75% cash and pools, and then about 25% in CDs. And you can see from that bottom left portfolio chart, you can just see the progression of the funds over the past 2 years. You'll see the bigger drop this last quarter just from the big spend for the capital projects that have happened over the time. And looking at the book and market value comparison, this is a report that's required by Public Funds Investment Act, just showing the increases and decreases in and out of the different investments. Some funds out of the Wells Fargo accounts, and then 3 CDs that matured during that time period, and all of those were bond funds that matured. And the last report that's included in here is just a breakdown between the different internal funds of the investments. So between your consolidated, general consolidated bond funds, et cetera, and how they changed quarter over quarter. Are there any questions about the quarterly report?
I don't have any questions. I did have questions, but I already got them. Thank you so much for.
Mayor, I have questions, if I may. Thank you for your presentation. It's hard to believe it's been another quarter since you've been here. I do have a question, your opinion. So you did talk about how, given the state of where we are, that you anticipated the ratings as they are now, but looking at from year to date, I mean, it's a whole point lower. And then looking at from our last quarter to now, it's been a slight decrease, and then we're anticipating additional decreases following December. Would there be any recommendation for the city to do anything different in anticipation of the portfolio continuing to dip?
That's where putting in some of the CDs, which we've been doing, where you have cash available, what that does is it locks in that rate for that maturity term. So whether that's 3, 6, 9, or 12 months, that's kind of that. We actually did one that was for 24 months this last quarter to try to lock in that rate. I don't know if I could actually rotate on the rate that it's at. We locked one in for 24 months that was at a 3.62. So you'll carry that yield for the full 24 months. And so that will help maintain the level of yields that you're receiving as on those funds. And so it will help it slow as the rates come down. That's what we kind of like to see, and why we encourage laddering is because when you're in a declining rate market like we're in right now, putting them in investments where, in like CDs, or if you were to purchase securities or whatever, it helps your yield glide down. Whereas if you were completely and totally in overnight rates, whether that be pools or money market funds or your cash funds at the bank, when the market, or when the FOMC announces those rate drops, those cash yields will drop almost immediately. The pools are a little bit slower, but they will drop almost in conjunction with that action by the FOMC. So that's when we encourage laddering, that's when we have some CDs that are in there, and we try to, anytime you have available funds that don't have a more immediate need, we try to put those out to help elongate that yield hold.
Right, so what you're telling me is you kind of anticipated this and
Yes.
major recommendations in preparation for this, and I really appreciate
We work
that.
regularly with Cindy to try to put those funds to work where we can.
Great, thank you for that. I give you the floor, Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, any questions? Then we will move on to, thank you so much, have a safe trip home.
Thank you so much.
With the ADA park canopy,
So, I believe you had asked for this item to be on the agenda,
yeah,
Mayor.
and
And I'm speaking with Mr. Cantu earlier today, he said that you all had spoke on this and you're taking a different approach for this, so he's, I guess, going back out for some different pricing, is that correct?
that is correct. Before we didn't exactly, I just asked him because he thought it was the whole thing.
Yeah, I think
was
he
too
had a
much.
misunderstanding of
Yeah,
what
so I
exactly
told
it
him,
was
no,
you
it
were
was
looking
just a
for.
certain portion.
So he's going back out then. So we are having to and I'll get with Cindy, Cindy was out today. So, we'll have to readjust that requested, so that we can get proper pricing for that.
And I appreciate, if we could put it back in our next meeting, I would appreciate it. If, y'all are finished.
Yes.
with,
So he'll start working on that.
Thank you, Ms. Lorna. And then, moving on to.
Quick question, Mayor.
Yes.
On that item, do we have money for the budget?
It depends on how much it is. This, what we went out for initially right now was way out of budget. I mean,
I mean, it costs like
to cover the whole thing, we were looking
No,
at
they don't cost that.
we were looking at 200,000 to cover the whole,
Much-
that was 200,000.
Yes, and the one, I wanted one like the.
That was not in budget.
Yes. I wanted one like the one just parked, just for the kids that are on wheelchairs.
So the way he explained it to me was, we're going to look at something similar that is at the Lodi Park that's only a
Exactly.
partial covering.
Yeah. And that was 70,200.
So that's what we'll go out and look at pricing.
It's probably a little bit more now, but that's how much the, Sakata gave us that one.
So we'll need to look at that. We don't know pricing for something like that, but originally, what we did go out and get pricing for, we were looking at about 200,000, a little over 200,000.
Yeah, that's what I told him. I said, no, there's no way we would do that. So.
Would that come out of a grant, or would that come out of the general fund?
I would have to be CIP, because as far as the ADA playground, but it's gonna depend also what comes back on our RFQ for the pool. Like, there's a lot of things. that
Mayor, I'm
have to
sorry, I
happen
need a
first.
point of inquiry. I need some clarification on this entire discussion. So we went out, council gave a directive for a bid for the ADA playground. Now you're telling me that there have been conversations after that to change what the city's gonna go out to bid. So can you please, for the audience, can you please clarify what that conversation entailed and what we're actually gonna look at now?
Yes, so what we originally went out for was to cover the entire ADA playground, which was including the zip line, the merry-go-round, and the entire playground equipment that is currently out there. And covering the entire playground, they told us whether we did it in what they consider sections, which is pieces to cover it all, or if we did one entire piece, we were looking at $200,000 or more. In talking with Mr. Cantu, that's been working on this for us, he said that's just something that we don't see that we can fund at this time, and in talking with Cindy, that's not anything we can fund at this time. He asked me today, can I talk with the mayor to see if this is exactly the route we want to take? So he did that, and she has said that that's not the route she wants to take. Instead, she would consider a partial covering to cover only a partial part of that playground equipment. So if we're going to do a partial covering of the playground equipment, then we would have to redo the request that was originally done so that we can get new pricing on that. We don't know what that pricing would be. We have to go back out for that.
So do we have to put that on the agenda?
Well, Mayor, I do have a question because the reasoning was to cover the entire park.
Yes.
Because the children have special needs.
Yes.
So I don't quite understand how a partial covering would meet that need. And so and again, at that meeting, we did discuss how we would look at pricing, and it may not be, our Director of Finance had mentioned it may not be this fiscal year, maybe something we roll into our next capital improvement plan. So I don't see a problem with understanding how much that would cost for the entire park. I just want to make sure that if we are going to spend funds, that it's done intentionally. And I feel like doing partial coverage of a park for special needs children is not as intentional as the original directive.
That is correct, but half is better than nothing. That's the way I look at it. So I would appreciate it if you would put it on the agenda and we could bid for half. Maybe if it's not the city that pays for it, but like we got somebody to pay for the, they gave us the canopy over there. I mean, I'm willing to go out there and ask for,
So what I can do then is.
and it would be just half. We'll start with half and then the other half. Of course, everybody wants to cover, the whole thing. That's what I would like, to cover the whole thing. But $200,000 is too much, we can't afford it. So let's just do half, or whatever we can afford, and then we'll do the rest. Even if it's look at the playground, it's been there since 2016, and we just finished it now. So we cannot do one thing. I wanted that playground there since 2016, and it was impossible because we didn't have the money. So that's the only thing I'm asking for, is just, let's do half, and then, like I said, half is better than nothing.
So I can bring that proposal back to you all at the next meeting. That way you all can give us direction and move forward with that, if that's the wrong.
And don't think that I'm against it or anything, it's just that I wanna know where the money's coming from, and that's why it's very important that when we plan something, we plan what is it that we need for this park before we, spend all this money and say, okay, well, we know we need a canopy, or we know, and we're doing, it's okay to do it in phases too, but, the thing is, my question is just so the citizens will know where this money's coming from, because I know that it's out of order, whatever, but what I said, I also got things that I wanna do downtown, like those ramps, the handicap, that's out of order here, but there's things that we have to also look at our citizens, our streets and stuff like that, so I'm not trying to make anything against that park, handicap or anything, I'm all for it, but I also wanna know where the money's coming from. Thank you.
And you're also exactly right, Mario, that money was placed there in 2023 for the park for the handicap. So that's the money we're using, but now we need to fix the swimming pool. So yeah, if they need to use that money for the swimming pool, it's fine with me, I don't have a problem with that. But I would really, really like, even if it's half of the canopy.
So, I'll make note and I'll get with the city secretary so we can bring that item back to you all.
Thank you so much, Monica. I would appreciate it. And I would appreciate if all the council would be money to help.
I've got one thing to add to that. When the agenda is added, could you, by chance, put in there how much funding we have for these capital improvement projects? Just for clarification, and I think for transparency for our citizens as well.
Yes, I actually have it, I can bring that to you, I can email that to you,
Okay.
obviously, if you want it, but
Thank
I
you.
can bring it to the next meeting as well.
Didn't you just recently?
Like, been a month or so, but we did have a big September, so.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Is that all the questions that I have? Okay, moving on to FEDC, update from our dealer.
I think it takes a little longer to get stuff done. Council, Mayor, city staff, my name is Ray Lambert. I'm the president of FEDC. The previous FEDC board hired a group from Nashville, Tennessee to search for a city manager in 2024. The company was named the Next Move Group. FEDC paid them $22,875 for the service. The board hired the executive director in March of 2024. The gentleman worked until September of 2024 and he resigned. The agreement with the Next Move Group was the employee had to stay at least 1 year. So they said they would honor the agreement and do another search for free. That search was started late September and early October of 2024. The city manager at the time, Andy Jocelyn, and I interviewed several candidates for the job by Zoom, so we could kind of narrow the field and take the several options back to the board for them to make the final decision. We did not find anyone in that group that was a good fit for Floresville. The city manager was terminated in December, and in that search, ended the search. The board decided we would better wait till the city manager is in place before another search to continue. Our thoughts are that the city manager needs to work so closely with the FEDC executive director. They need to be part of the selection process to make sure it's a harmonious relationship for the city as well as for them. Any questions?
I do. Hi, Ray, thank you for that update. So basically, it's on hold right now until we put a city manager in place.
That is correct.
Okay, and then let me just ask you, I'm sorry, I missed it a little bit when you talked about the hiring firm. So are you still gonna use them once there's a permanent city manager in place?
They offered to, I wouldn't hire them the first time, but we inherited that. But they said they would do another search for free because it was the terms of the agreement that had been signed previous to us. That search was started, but we didn't hire anybody, so they're gonna continue another search. I'm not sure, but we have came up with nothing.
Okay.
I've got a question. Whenever y'all do hire, whenever we do hire a city manager, will the city manager be in part of the interview process whenever y'all try to hire an EDC director?
For sure, that's kind of the mission here is we want the city manager, we have a huge hand in it because they need to work together. And so I think this we have a big part of choosing who we hire.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lambert. Moving on to, consideration, 5A, new business. Consideration and action to approve proclamation 2026-004 National Diabetes Awareness Month by Mr. Lambert. Councilman, member.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I'm gonna read this proclamation. So it states, this is proclamation 2026-004 National Diabetes Awareness Month, and it states, National Diabetes Awareness Month is observed every November to bring attention to diabetes and its effects on millions of Americans. As a leading global organization funding type 1 diabetes research, Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation leads the way to educate the public, and we hope the T1D community can help us spread awareness about what it means to live with T1D, type 1 diabetes, and raise funds to accelerate life-changing breakthroughs to cure, prevent, and treat type 1 diabetes and its complications. JDRF has in-house scientists to oversee a diverse portfolio of research tracks, leaving no stone unturned in the search for a cure. The goal of JDRF is to improve the lives of every person affected by type 1 diabetes by accelerating progress on the most promising opportunities for curing better, treating, and preventing the disease. JDRF collaborates with a wide spectrum of partners who share this goal. Moving forward for type 1 diabetes unites all, urging everyone to join in and collectively strive towards a brighter, healthier future for those living with type 1 diabetes. Together we can raise awareness, foster a sense of community, prioritize better health, and champion research for cures. Finding a cure starts with awareness. Type 1 diabetes won't stop us from moving forward. Together as the city City of Floresville proclaims, we are moving forward as one.
Do I have any comments or? Thank you. Moving on to, 5B, consideration and action to.
Mayor.
Yeah, you need a motion.
Oh,
We need a motion.
sorry. Do I have a motion
Yes,
to approve this?
I'll make a motion to approve proclamation 2026-004 National Diabetes Awareness Month.
Okay. Motion made by Mr. Leonard, seconded by Mr. Morones. All in favor? Motion passes 5-0. 5-4, 0 against. Moving on to item B, man, I'm in a hurry to get to the side. Okay, consideration and action to approve proclamation 2026-005 National Veterans and Military Family Month.
I put this on there, I want to thank all the men and women that serve in the service, and, they put their lives out so we can have a free, our life, you know, freedom, for our freedom. And, I have put this on here, and, I thank everybody that's been in the service, men and women, thank you for your service. And, you want to read it, maybe?
City of Floresville Proclamation 20-005 National Veteran and Military Families Month. Each veteran and military family represents a link in a chain of honor stretching back to our nation's founding. This month, we honor all military and veterans families who serve and sacrifice alongside their loved ones in uniform. Our nation's most sacred obligation is to prepare and support those we send into harm's way and to care for them and their families when they return home. We continue working to ensure veterans and service members receive the benefits and care they deserve, including historic expansions through the PACT Act and other bipartisan measures improving health care, justice, and financial security. Military connected families face unique challenges, from career impacts to child care and frequent moves. Though initiatives like joining forces and recent executive orders, steps are being taken to improve quality of life, strengthen economic opportunities, and expand support for spouses, caregivers, and survivors. This month, we express our deepest gratitude to all military and veteran families. Their courage, resilience, and devotion reflects the very best of our nation. Now therefore, I, Gloria Morales Cantu, Mayor of the City of Floresville, Texas, hereby proclaim November 2025 as National Veterans and Military Family Month.
I make a motion to approve proclamation number 2026-005, National Veterans and Military Family Month.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Do I have any comments or any audience or from us? No? All in favor? 5-0, motion passes. 5-4, 0 against. Next, discussion, consideration, and possible action to approve the Floresville Electric Light Power System 2026 operating and capital budgets.
Good evening. First, I'd like to ask that everybody on the council get a copy of the 3 pages. You have copies if you need it.
Yes, sir, we need a packet.
Thank you.
Please state your name or.
Good evening, Mayor Cantu, council members, City of Floresville team members, distinguished guests, and all others attending the meeting. My name is Aaron Wagner, and I'm the CEO of Floresville Electric Light and Power Systems. Joining me also is our CFO, Santos Alucon. I appreciate him coming and supporting me tonight with any questions that the council may have concerning the financials. Tonight, I'm honored to present the Phelps budget for 2026. But first, let me give you a bit of background on where we are, what we've done, and where we're planning for the future. Before this started my tenure, Phelps was without a permanent CEO, CFO, COO, CTO, in addition to other team members who left. There was a lot of turmoil, and the team at Phelps had low morale. The system was not being properly maintained, and customers are feeling the result of this with long power outages, low team morale that was bleeding into the field outside the office, and a lot of just general angst at how Phelps was being run. Phelps was also running on what was considered a skeleton crew, relying solely on contractors and consultants to do a lot of the work. Now enter the new era. Over the last 2 years that I've been CEO, there have been a lot of changes. Hopefully everyone's noticed some good ones. Not only have we brought the staff back to a manageable level to support all aspects of the utility, but we have added a very experienced executive staff that brought many years of experience to Phelps. Our Chief Financial Officer, Santos, who I introduced a minute ago, brings many years of diverse experience, not only working for a municipal, but also other industries, including school-level accounting. Devin Parker, Phelps Chief Operations Officer, brings years of lineman experience. He worked for an actual contractor, allowing him to oversee our linemen as well as several other departments. Chris Owens, Chief Technology Officer, brings years of experience managing IT systems and has shown his work from day one. This is your Phelps executive team, and I am blessed that they chose to work with our team over other offers they may have had. We're fortunate to have all three, and we appear to be working pretty well together as a team. The rest of the team at Phelps have come a long way as well. I'll never forget the first day I heard one of our team members laugh in the hall. That was the day I knew what we were trying to accomplish here was starting to kick in. Today, all the team members enjoy coming to work, and the last survey we completed proves that. They were positive in their responses. Everyone is working together and doing their part to make Phelps better every day. Beyond the team, our electric system is starting to reflect some of the changes that we've been implementing. Outage times are shorter and fewer customers are seeing the effects of an outage. Historically, a squirrel might have caused an entire subdivision to go down. Today, those are fewer due to the sectionalizing changes that we've been implementing. While we cannot say a long outage will never happen, the hope is that everyone is starting to see that we are doing better and that the level of service expected out of a utility system is getting closer to being met. Just keep in mind, one storm can affect a lot of different customers, or a lot of customers all at once. So be patient if we have a major storm. This is a rural country, and outages are going to happen. Know that Phelps will continue to strive to reduce the number and length of outages as best we can. Rates. Oh, everyone's always interested in rates. Recently, CPS had a rate increase that affected everyone in the San Antonio area. Fortunately, Phelps last year was actually able to go down on their rates. Our goal is to keep rates exactly where they are for as long as we can. While there is no way to know exactly what the future holds for power costs, Phelps will do everything we can to be one of the lowest rates in the state of Texas. And we are already. So I can promise you that because I used to be on ERCOT and we pay 10.2 cents a kilowatt hour right now. I was paying over 13. Now to the future. What is Phelps planning on the horizon that will affect all of our customers? Adding additional team members. We're trying to continue to help support our utility as well as our customer base. Our budget presentation will reflect several of those additions. Continuing to install sectionalizing devices where necessary to limit the number of affected customers during outages. As I stated, outages are going to happen. How do we limit the number of people affected by those outages? We are also planning to add new substations for alternate power sources. Y'all have heard us talk about Bentwood substation in the paper. That's going to be our first new substation in quite a while. It's going to be somewhere, it's right between the north side of Floresville, about halfway between there and 775, right at the Y. Sometime in the not too distant future, We're already making plans to put stations at Poth and Stockdale, our two other owner cities, as well as a couple of other locations. But those are pending studies, as well as whether large loads develop as expected. Mission Rail is one of the areas that we're looking at, potentially having another substation. We will be upgrading lines to allow for less voltage drop and support subdivision and commercial growth. A couple of examples. Cimarron up on the very northern end of our system and Shannon Ridge, both should see construction start sometime first quarter 2026. Conductor upgrades will happen in those locations. And again, it's to support some voltage issues that I've seen in the modeling I actually run the modeling too. No engineering firms are supposed to, but have a bad habit going back to my roots. We're planning to add new construction crew, an entire construction crew, in lieu of using contractors. This will save money, as contractors, as you know, they rely on a profit margin. We're gonna take that profit margin away, hire a contracting crew, or a full crew, so that we can pay them internally. Right now, we've got about 4 crews on staff that we got external. We're gonna take one of those and make them permanent, because we know that we've had a construction crew there for many years, and several of our board members have stated such. There's ample work to be done for one crew. So we're gonna be able to be flexible with the other 3, and as we have work or don't have work, we can bring them in or ask them to go find some other work. We're developing long-term plans to ensure there's a path forward for Phelps. We're not just gonna go day by day, year by year. We're gonna look at financial forecasts with Santos's help. We're looking at campus planning. Campus meaning our facility there on 97. How are we gonna grow it? When we hit certain employee levels or team member levels, what are we gonna do? What do we need to do to make sure they have the facilities to be able to work with us? Distribution system planning, same thing. We need a roadmap to understand where our system's going and where we may need to upgrade other areas. Now, that's really just when load levels get to a certain point. We're gonna call it a 4 or 5 year work plan, but it's a load level requirement. In other words, if we don't hit that load level, we're not gonna build it. Or if we don't see that load level hit in year 2, we're gonna wait till 3 or 4 to see if it gets there. And so it's just a roadmap for us to understand where we're going. And then lastly, one of the other things over the next 5 years, I'm gonna be working hard to figure out how we're gonna have power supply for Phelps for as long as I can see out, past my retirement. And there's a lot of thought that has to go into that. So that's why I'm saying somewhere between 3 and 5 years, we'll probably be presenting to the council as well as our board plans or recommendations on how we need to move forward past our current and our about to be renewed CPS contract. Lastly, we're working with all forms of leadership throughout the county and state to ensure we are all cooperating on the same path to make each city and Wilson County places that everyone wants to live or come visit. I think it's important, and I've seen some disconnect in the county between different governments, between different entities, and I think it's really important that we try to bring that cohesiveness to ourselves so that we work together. We're all in the same county. We each provide different things for the county. And so I want to try to help initiate some of that with the judge, with all the folks that are dignitaries within the county. And that's just a goal of mine. That's just something I want to bring to the table. We serve almost the entirety of Wilson County, and there's no reason why Phelps can't lead that initiative. As for any questions concerning Phelps and where we've been, where we are, and where I plan to take us.
Well, I just want to thank you for your vision, and I also want to say that I commend you and your staff for doing such a great job. Every time I go into, that I walk into Phelps, I can feel, so much positive energy, and everybody seems to be all happy in here. So thank you all for,
Thank you, Mayor. And that's not just me, that's the entire team.
I know the
You-
entire
You have to have,
team, y'all work so good together, I mean, I could see it.
I don't wanna take credit for the entirety because it's definitely a
And
team
I won't
effort.
give you all the credit, but
All right,
thank
there
you.
you go.
It takes the team, so.
All right, council, thank y'all for
Y'all have
letting
any
me.
questions for Mr. Wagner?
I just have a question.
Yes, sir.
How many, contracting units do you guys employ?
So on the construction side with our linemen, we've got 4 right now. The main drive behind those 4 is, I'm not gonna throw rocks at other people. When we went out and inspected poles, we found that we had 2,000 poles that we had to go change out. 2,000. That's nothing our folks can handle, that's nothing that 1 or 2 contracting crews can handle. So we had to bring in additional crews. As we learned what the pace of their replacements were, we started adding additional crews. So we're trying to get it to about 100 a month is what our goal is, so that by the middle of next year, we can roll those crews into the next round of pole inspection. Hopefully it's not as bad, because we were seeing 20 to 25% failure rates on some of them, which is really not good. What I can tell you is it's about, 9 or 10% is what you should see. So we're hoping that next year we don't see those same failure rates. Once we know that, then we can start pulling contractors back and start reducing that expenditure. But until then, we don't want to let them go because we need them to help us get our poles. I mean, we had some poles that had 5% holding strength. That's how bad some of them were. On the right-of-way side, we don't have anybody to use our own crews right now. We're looking at potentially bringing in 1 right-of-way crew to help supplement them to get us caught up on right-of-way clearing. The right-of-way was really neglected, so there's a lot of areas that need clearing, just wholesale clearing. On our, we have pole contact inspections that we've done recently. Everybody might have seen there's a contractor that had Phelps contractor on the side of their truck. All they were doing was determining who was contacting our poles so that we can go to those communication vendors and start getting the correct amount of money we need from them for contacting our poles, because even our pole contacts we're working on getting it all corrected, but that's why we're doing that. Outside of that, there's really not any other contractors on board. We did have the transformer optimization project. We had to bring in a contractor, but that's just substation level. You don't see them in the community. So that's where we are right now on contractors, but we're going to continue to monitor those dollars, make sure we're not expending them incorrectly.
Thank you very much for your response.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Cantu, I was gonna say, I'm sure that Mr. Wagner will give you a tour if you ever want to go
Oh,
see.
absolutely.
Any of us.
If any of the council members want to come see what we do, what we've been doing, what the board has allowed us to do, especially, we had one pretty good sized project this year where our meter shop didn't have a meter shop to actually work in. So we went in and constructed a meter shop in our warehouse and made our warehouse much more manageable from the standpoint of storing materials. So I'd love to give y'all a tour of it anytime y'all want.
Thank you. Do I have any more questions from the council? Oh, you're not finished yet?
You said I did the budget, man.
Okay, I know. I tell you a bit already.
Mayor, if I can just make a quick announcement before we continue. There's a white Dodge Journey with their interior lights on, just whatever.
A car outside for Journey? If anybody owns one and your lights are on? Thank you. Go ahead.
Are you ready, man? All right, everybody, what we're presenting today is the budget that was approved by our board. I want to go over it a little bit with you because some of it can get a little bit confusing with how we're presenting today versus how we presented historically. And I want to make sure you all understand what we're comparing apples to apples and what we're doing. Santos has done a good job of reevaluating how we do our budgets, and so this year is going to be a little bit different, where restructured it. I'll give you an example. We had a lot of software annual costs, but they were dispersed through like 3 or 4 different GL accounts. And those are really hard to track down. It's really hard to make sure you budget correctly with those. So what we're doing is we're forcing the entirety of that under one GL. So, going over our 2025 budget that we're currently under, we're projected to have about 15 million excess right now. I think it'll be a little bit less than that because our power costs right now are a little bit lower. Remember, when you hear power costs, what is that attributed to? That's attributed to weather. If the weather is not extreme one way or the other, hot or cold, your meters aren't spinning here as much. Our summer was actually, even though we hit 106 a lot of times, 110, 115 heat index, the nights weren't as hot. If you stay above 80, that's when you know you're gonna have meters spinning much more. We dropped below 80 almost every day during the summer, if y'all recall. We were 77, 78, 79. Those 2 degrees make a huge difference because where's everybody's air conditioners at? 77, 78, 79. So they're not gonna run as much when the temperature is 80, 81 outside to try to keep you cool while you're sleeping. Some of us are crazy and leave ours a little bit lower, like 74, but so that's why we're seeing a little bit less in our income for the revenue. So let's mosey over to the 2026 budget. We have, we're projecting about 54 million in revenue. There's a couple of different reasons why that revenue is so much more. One, we've got a new large load that's going in at Mission Rail. We anticipate them to start their operations sometime early in January. They're under construction, and they've been under construction for several months. And so it's about a 45 megawatt load. It's gonna generate, depending on how much they run, anywhere from $500 to $1 million in revenue. It could be more if they go 24 hours a day, but I haven't heard whether they are or not. If they go 24 hours a day, that revenue is gonna double or triple. The other reason why that number is a little bit higher, Santos has done a really good job of reinvesting our dollars and getting it massaged to where we're going from, 300,000 or 400,000 in interest to about 1.2 million. So we're bringing in about 1.1 to 1.2 million, am I stating that correctly? So we're reflecting that in our net income or revenue for next year. You notice our purchase power. Our purchase power is going up. We have a proposal that I can't talk about in here. It's under executive session. It's a contract with CPS. What I'll tell you is that number right there that you see is a good reflection of what we anticipate those costs to be. Those are not today's costs. Those are the future costs that we anticipate. Our contract with CPS is ending on December 31st. So we wanted to make sure what we presented to not only our board, but to the councils reflected what we anticipate the new contract to show. Transmission operations, they're minimal dollars. Distribution operations, we continue to improve our system. You heard me talk about sectionalizing and everything. Some of that's capital, some of that's O&M, or operations and maintenance. So that reflection is our continued efforts. It also includes any raises for the operations or distribution staff. Customer-related expenses, as you can see, went down. A lot of that is attributed to what I was talking about with the software. The software, we're moving to another GL account, which is actually under general and administrative. That's why one of the reasons general and administrative went up so much, because we're putting the right costs in there. Storeroom is again, there was some very high dollars associated with storeroom that shouldn't have been there. We've moved those to their appropriate spot. So net, with excluding purchase power, we're going from 8.5 to 10.7 million. And again, I'll explain the difference because there's some caveats in there why that number is jumping up so much. If you add in purchase power, we're going from 33 million to 42 million. which we still project a net income of 12.8 million for next year to reinvest in the system, in our big projects. Now, we're also proposing to add about 12 new team members. I'll explain those to you here in a minute on the third slide. Our capitalized dollars, the way we used to do our budgets was we took capitalized dollars out of our payroll. So when you show that, we were wanting to show payroll as a true number of dollars that's required to pay the staff or the team. The reason we have a deduct is because some of that payroll can be capitalized on the capital projects, whether it be a substate or a distribution line extension, and we expend that over a 5-year period, or we have a customer that wants a service, well, they actually pay for that, and that's what's been built into Phelps. The cost that the customer sees, that's what we're talking about in some of those capitalized dollars for that 1.7 million. So right now, we have a total O&M budget of 10.2 million. Now let's go into the apples and oranges discussion. We have capitalized dollars, which I've already explained to you for the 2026. But what is not included is when we look at the 2025 budget, we had depreciation that was added in. Santos is not going to add in depreciation from this point forward. That's just another expense that's not part of the O&M. From a benefits perspective, that's the benefits that the employees get, insurance, all pension, everything like that. So that's where the 810,000 comes from. So if you're looking at apples to apples on this, we're looking at about a 7% increase. If you exclude the new team members and take the other three items into account that I just described. Any questions on the O&M side?
Do I have any questions? And I apologize for jumping ahead. I had already done it, so
No, you're fine,
I was
ma'am.
ready for it, but thank you for explaining to the council what it.
So on the capital budget, if there's no questions on O&M, ma'am? We're looking at, this year we had 16.4. My eyes are crossed right now. What you have to understand is there was about $3.1 million in Bentwood that we had to delay because of the transformer optimization. So of the 16.4 that you see in the 2026 budget, that 3.1 has actually already been approved by everybody. So what we're really asking for is an additional 13.2 on top of what we had already approved last year. So I just wanted to make sure there was a clarification there. We had that one rollover project. We may have one or two more, but we believe we can still take care of those and not have them roll into this. Lastly, on the last slide, just to go over what we're talking about, our 12 new team members. The new construction crew is going to be a 4-person crew plus a supervisor. It's 2 journeyman linemen, 2 apprentice, and a crew foreman. And that is what exactly we have with our construction contractors. It's just one crew, and we take all of those costs into account here. We have a warehouse associate that we've asked for and got approved. There's several things. We need somebody to keep all the inventory straight, make sure nothing's out of place with our new inventory system that we're putting in place with the warehouse overhaul. And also with the additional crews that we have right now, we need the additional help because putting together projects for that many crews, we only have one person that does that. And so we need an additional person to support. A right-of-way trimmer, right now we only have one. So in a lot of cases, our 2 right-of-way crews can only go as one. If we get another right-of-way trimmer, we can split those crews up into 2 and get more accomplished. In our IT department, a SCADA analyst, system operator, we have one of our dispatchers, which that's what a system operator is. Our dispatchers, he's going to retire in the near future. Our plan is to try to backstop him with another analyst and a SCADA operator. learn what his job is so that he can get, whoever that person is, he or she can come in and gain the knowledge that he has before he leaves. An AMI technician. We have a need for a new AMI technician as well because of retirement. We've got two older gentlemen that are gonna retire. We need to backstop that with gaining knowledge from those two as well. We're trying to start fulfilling that gap. Now that we've got a full staff, let's start filling that gap that we're gonna have when people start retiring. So we're analyzing where people are retiring and gonna start filling positions early so we can gain more knowledge before it leaves. IT support technician, our CTO is doing a lot of the wiring, installs and everything himself. He needs to be doing CTO work, not general technician work. We need somebody in there to go do the wiring for him so he can start doing the planning, programming, anything else that's required by a CTO. And last but not least, the groundskeeper. We don't have a groundskeeper, but let me give you an example of why we think a groundskeeper makes so much sense for us. Right now, we're paying about $18,000 a year for mowing all of our facilities. And we also have about $12,000 a year for twice a year cleaning of the site, of the facility itself, meaning window washing, power spraying, all of the above. There's $30,000 of a salary out that quick. That doesn't include any of the miscellaneous work that they could be doing on a day-to-day basis. So we believe that the groundskeeper is very much a necessary item. That's my presentation, folks. I know it was long, but I wanted to make sure y'all had a good picture of where we stood today, where we are on our budget, why our budget is where it is, and not just present you numbers. So any questions from the council or our mayor?
No questions?
I really thank y'all for your time and effort and look forward to seeing, getting y'all's approval for this.
Thank you for your time, sir.
Do I have any citizens' questions? Any council questions? Then I would, ask for a motion for the discussion, consideration, and possible action to approve the Floresville electric light and power system 2026 operating capital.
Mayor, make a motion to approve the Floresville Electric Light and Power System 2026 operating and capital budget.
Second.
Seconded, yes. Do I have any questions? Not at all? Okay, all in favor? 5-0, motion passes.
Thank you, council.
5-4, 0 against. Thank you. We're gonna move to item 5N now. Consideration and action to approve, Kinlock Miles and Miles proposal of a broom badger.
We have representatives from Kinlock here.
Yes. Good evening, I'm Dan Blade with Kinlock Equipment.
If y'all could just come to the podium so we can see that. So currently, we are in it's called a mile for mile leasing program on our street sweeper.
A leasing? Did you say leasing?
Correct. It's called mile after mile. So, the request today is if we can continue to lease on a newer piece of equipment. The one we have is over 4 years old, so the lease is coming up. And I have Calvin here as well. We speak with them, spoke with the public works director. They have spoken with them. I don't know if y'all have any questions or if y'all did look through this. We do have money in the capital outlay. Currently, we are paying $52,000. It would go up to almost 70, but there is money within the current budget for that.
And it says 4 annual payments of $69,000?
Correct.
But, and then on the top, it says capital cost 311?
Correct.
When you add the 69,900,
Yeah, well, okay, so there's capital cost of that, but there is interest, because we are leasing.
that's what you're, okay, because I saw that, so it's a 4-year lease, and it's got a 5 years somewhere, 5-year warranty?
Correct, so the mile per mile, I mean, I'll could probably speak better than I can on what the program all includes.
Yes, correct. The mile after mile program is all encompassing, so everything is included, except for gutter brooms. The brooms are the only wear item on this program. But we cover tires, windshield wipers, everything is included, all the maintenance, preventive maintenance, repair maintenance is all included at that price. So it's a flat level number for the next 4 years, just like you've had the last 4 years with the current suite.
Do you have anything to say?
I have a question. Is there anything else that you don't cover besides brushes as far as wear?
The only thing that wouldn't be covered would be damage, misuse, neglect, abuse, an accident, something like that. But everything, through warranty and through preventive maintenance, would be covered.
With that said, do I have any questions from the council? Do I have any citizens comment? Do I have, a motion?
Mayor, before we take a motion, if I can just double check with the finance director to mention that this is a current lease that you all are in a current lease with them, correct?
Correct.
So if you're doing this now to,
Trade in the old one that we currently have.
okay.
And get received it.
So I had spoken with the public works director on it, but are these individuals part of a buy board?
Yes, correct, yes.
Yes, correct.
Okay, we just wanted clarification on that.
Thank you, Monica, for that question. With that said, any more questions from anyone? Do I have a motion?
Mayor, I'll make a motion for consideration and action to approve mile after mile proposal for a broom badger.
Motion made by Ms. Flores. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Mr. Cantu. And no questions from the citizens or, okay, all in favor? 5-0, motion passes. 5-4, 0 against. Thank you. Do we have anybody else that's out of town that, so I can move the agenda around?
Mayor, I do believe you have, someone on the development side that is here, correct? But in order to take action on that.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go back to, and do H first, because I see that those are.
Actually, it's item I that you have the individuals here for.
Item I, okay. Then we'll go ahead and do item I. Consideration and action to approve a replat of lot 2 and lot 900 of the Demco Holdings Incorporate Development Subdivision Plat being 17.26 acres located on US 181 near County Road 330.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. We have Gemco who's replatting the area next to Sun Daddy's. That's the area that they're replatting. They were sent to our engineers for review. We have no objection. Everything checked out. No objection from Phelps. They also approved the plat. And I believe they have everything done. And we do have Mr. Steve Lynn, who's representing Gemco. He's the engineer. If you have any questions for him.
Mayor and council, this item has gone before planning and zoning as well, and they did recommend approval on this item.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good. My name's Steve Lynn, with Southtown Engineering, 2222 Alamo, San Antonio, Texas. More than happy to field any questions, but I do want to say I do appreciate moving this up the agenda, so really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course.
Was not expected, but thank you.
So, I you, a question on, which it says, because it doesn't have page, I'm saying on the third page. In coordination with the city of Floresville is inconsistent with the future sewer alignment as directed by the city, since sewer would be extended to the subdivision along US 181. Can you explain that? In the future?
So I don't have that direct in front of me.
So, Mayor, what that is currently, when it was platted before, there's a temporary sewer easement that is there coming from Lodi, or going to Lodi. So they're using that,
From Lodi,
the Lodi Road subdivision, so they're using that sewer right at this time. So this plat also shows that as well, and it's showing as a temporary sewer easement until the improvements come in, which I believe is happening at this time.
So the improvements that she's talking about, that is the, bid that you all recently awarded. That is part of the 181 sewer extension that will be taking place.
okay. When I was reading it, I noticed that, I was just asking.
And that sewer line's already in place, it went in the daddies, so we're tying to that one, and then when the new one comes in.
Right, exactly.
Okay, that's the question. I was a little bit concerned about.
But it is specified as temporary in the
Okay.
plat.
Okay, and is it gonna pass by anybody's property?
No, we have. And if you remember, it's also been rezoned recently.
Okay. Does the council have any questions?
I have a question now.
Okay, go ahead.
I keep hearing the word temporary. What were you talking about?
So it's a temporary sewer easement. So right now, as the site currently stays, right now, there's a sewer line that goes from Lodi Grove subdivision, from that, I call it knuckle, like the end of the cul-de-sac, and it goes to the Sud Daddies. That was installed when Sud Daddies came in. And there is a future, from my understanding, there's a future master plan that sewer is gonna be extended along 181, one day. So we're gonna continue to use that sewer line that's already there for Sud Daddies, and then, one day, if, for example, we're creating 2 new lots, 3 and 4, and say that sewer line comes in for, in the future, and lot 4 is gonna develop, and, we could, tie in the sewer, and then that temporary sewer goes away. Just depending how the configuration for sewer line in the future goes.
And our engineer did do a sewer availability letter as well.
Thank you. Do I have any questions any more questions from the council? Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to replat lot 2 at 900 of the Draper Point in Development Subdivision, plat being 17.26 acres located on US 181 near County Road 330.
I'll second.
Motion made by Councilman Morones, seconded by Councilwoman Flores. If there's no questions from the audience? Okay. All in favor? Motion passes 5-0, 5-4, 0 against. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a safe night. Thank you.
Have a wonderful day. You be careful.
Mayor, we do have individuals here for the amendment and the rezoning as well, but that will also pertain to the public hearing.
Is that H and G? Is that what you're talking about?
I'm sorry, yes. So, but we would need to do H first.
Yes.
Before we can do G.
I saw that. Okay, we're gonna go to, item 5H. Consideration and action approving ordinance 2026-004 on an amendment to the future land use plan map for an area in the general vicinity of 3rd Street and Hospital Boulevard.
Mayor and council, we have John James, who's the planner from Rampage Law. He will be discussing the land use plan amendment.
Hello, yeah, again, John James, with, Rampage Law. This future land use amendment, you may recall that at, a previous meeting that you all, considered a zoning case and that it had some implications on the future land use plan, so you directed staff to go back and look at the future land use plan and bring back an amendment. That did go to the Planning and Zoning Commission, and they recommended approval of the future land use plan amendment that you see before you. What we did was we looked at the area surrounding that subject zoning, and we found 3 properties that warranted a change to the future land use map. One was that subject property there at the corner. There's another property across the street from that, that has been Floresville Flowers or Forest, and that has been operating as a business, but in residential classification in the future land use plan. And then another property down on Hospital Boulevard that also is the subject of the rezoning that's also on the agenda for tonight. So this future land use amendment would change the designation for those 3 properties. And then, of course, that would lead into the following zoning case that would make it consistent with the future land use plan. That's kind of the overview. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Before we move on, let me ask you a question. Does this have to do anything with the item that we had on the October meeting that was with 5F? 5F. And that was,
Yes, one of the properties that is the subject of this future land use amendment was the rezoning that you heard back in October. Was that your question?
yeah, but 5F, y'all had, I don't know if we discussed, 5F on the meeting that we had, I think y'all had commercial or business. That's a question I have to ask on that before is that gonna affect?
If you're referring to the last, to the.
But if you recall that rezoning to business was not consistent with the future land use plan, and so this amendment will resolve that by changing the future land use. Okay, okay, I guess I'm not.
Let me go back. Mayor, yes, go ahead.
In the last meeting, it was for the property at 1901 3rd Street. We zoned it, but the resolution says business at the top, but then says zone C, commercial at the bottom. So I think there's some confusion there. So we're just wanting to know, I think it's different than what we're discussing right now, but there is a.
If I may, the application is for business, what that was zoned, the rezone.
For the one last week?
Yes.
Okay,
The one I got
we just need to do a correction of some sort, because it does say commercial.
Yes, yes.
That
But
was-
the application is for business.
Okay,
I knew I had seen it, that's why I was gonna question it, but thank you.
So, Mayor, I have some questions. Regarding this property, right, we're talking about 1295 Hospital Boulevard, but then it also says 1100 Hospital Boulevard and 1901 3rd Street. So it's 3 properties. So are you saying that we are rezoning all of these properties from, is it to business?
Well, so the future land use plan is different than zoning. So as part of your comprehensive plan, the city has identified for the future, these are the land uses we expect various areas around town to be in the future. But it's just a long-range plan for the city. And so that's what we're changing right here is the future land use map, which is that long-term future for the city. It doesn't actually change the zoning of any of these properties. It's just changing your future land use plan.
And so we're changing the plan from residential to commercial real estate?
Commercial retail, so your future land use categories are, there are fewer categories than there are zoning. So for example, on your future land use plan, you only have one commercial designation. But in your zoning ordinance, you have two. You have commercial and you have business. And so in terms of the future land use map, anything that's either commercial or business in terms of zoning would be that commercial retail designation in your future land use map.
Okay, got it. Can you explain, what the difference is between business and commercial, please?
In general, the commercial allows a little more intense, in terms of, again, we're talking zoning is the business and the commercial, not the future land use map. But the business is a little bit less intensive of a category for the zoning than is the commercial. So the commercial designation allows a little bit more intensive commercial.
Thank you. Do I have any questions from the council? Do I have a motion?
Mayor, I make a motion to approve ordinance 2026-004 on an amendment to the future land use plan map for an area in the general vicinity of Third Street, businesses 181 and Hospital Boulevard.
A second.
Motion made by Ms. Jimenez, second by Mr. Morones, Councilman Morones, Councilwoman Jimenez. Do I have any citizens' comments on this? All in favor? Motion passes 5-0, 5-4, 0 against. Moving on to item G, 5G. Consideration and action of ordinance 2026-003, a request to rezone a 0.86 acre tract of land located at 1295 Hospital Boulevard, rezoning from R1 single family residential to B business.
Mayor and Council, so you have an application submitted by SBG Ranch. They're requesting to change zoning that has been residential one.
Okay. That's, do I have any comments on that?
And this has gone to planning and zoning as well. They have made the recommendation for approval.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 2026-003, a request to rezone a 0.86 acre tract of land located at 1295 Hospital Boulevard, rezoning from R1 to single family residence to B business.
Do I have a second? By Mr. Lambert. All in favor, do I have any comments at all? Any councilor? No? Okay, all in favor? Motion passes 5-0, 5-4, 0. At this time, I'm gonna request that we go to executive session. That's okay?
Mayor, if possible, could we do the, resilient communities, items only because, John the planner is still on for those items?
Okay, okay. Is that D, E, and F?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Item D, discuss, consider, and adopt resolution 2026-006, authorizing the submission of an application to the CDBG MIT Resilient Communities Program. Ms. Cindy? Or Ms.
Okay, good evening. So we met with with John James and I believe that's the name of the, so we had a meeting and one of our few things that they want that we needed to do to continue with this grant. And we're in a timeline, we have to get everything in by December 31st, so we're at a crunch.
Okay.
So this is just a resolution to support the application.
Do I have a motion? Does anybody have anything to say?
No. So I just want to also say, this grant, this Resilient Communities Grant is what we are seeking funding for our comprehensive plan and to update our ordinances.
Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to adopt resolution 2026-006, authorizing the submission of an application to the CDBG MIT Resilient Communities Program.
Motion made by Ms. Jimenez, second, and by Councilwoman Jimenez, seconded by Mr. Councilman Morones. No questions, no comments, nothing, all in favor? 5, all against? 0. Motion passes 5-4, 0 against. Item E, discuss, consider and adopt a resolution 2026-007, adopting new procurement policies in relation to the submission of an application to the CDBG MIT Resilient Community Programs.
Yes, so, when meeting with them, they are very particular on their policies. If our current policy is missing any type of verbiage, anything like that, they will kick out our application. So this policy is pertains just for this, process. So it's not gonna cancel out any current policy that we have. It's only for this project, that is it.
Thank you for that clarification.
And this is, provided to us from the grant company, also.
Okay, and this is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Floresville, Texas, adopting a procurement policy in relation to federal grants. Whereas the city from time to time applies for federal grant funding, and whereas such grant applications require the city to provide their procurement policies to ensure appropriate expenditures of any funds awarded. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Floresville, Texas, Section 1, that the procurement policy attached hereto as Exhibit A is hereby adopted as the official procurement policy of the City of Floresville, Texas for all federal grants. Section 2, to the extent that any federal grant was applied for under a previous procurement policy of the city, that policy shall remain in effect only for the purpose of procurement under particular grant as awarded. Section 3, the City Council hereby adopts such policy effective immediately upon its passage. So, do I have, no? Okay, so no, we need to vote on this one. Item E.
Yes, Mayor, I'll make a motion to adopt resolution of -2026-007.
Yeah.
Adopting a new procurement policies in relation to the submission of an application to the CDBG MIT Resilient Communities Program.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
By Councilman Felix. Do I have any questions from the council, from the audience, no comments? All in favor? Motion passes 5-0, 5-4, 0 against. Moving on to item F, is discuss, consider, and adopt new financial policies in relation to the submission of an application to the CDBG MIT Resilient Community Program.
Just as I stated prior, again, we need this policy in place. We have a current policy, but it needs to have the same verbiage if we're missing anything in both of our application. Without requesting for this particular grant.
motion?
I'll make a motion to, approve of the CDBG MIT Resilient Communities Program, an application to approve that.
Second? Second. Motion made by Mr. Councilperson, Mr. Lambert, and seconded by Ms. Jimenez. Councilwoman Jimenez. Do you have any comments from our citizens? Any questions? Council? No? All in favor? 5, 4, 0. Okay. Does anybody need to go early? Okay, then, I will request that we go to executive session. Do I have a motion?
Mayor, I'll make a motion to go into executive session. At 7:36 PM.
Which one are you doing? Which one are you going in on?
To
You need to
executive-
announce what you're going in on, and there's different ones here, and on some of these, people have a right to have it in public if they want.
Okay,
So you need to announce what you're exactly going into closed session for.
we can do, well, I was gonna go in line, but if I can pick, I will. Let's go, since we always do them all at once, Mr. Fenty, I thought we were, we'll do the first one, project 2024-002. The city will meet in closed session pursuant to the Texas Government Code Section 551, 087, economic development negotiation. Do I have a motion? Francis, you made a motion?
Yes,
Is
Mayor,
that
I'll
okay?
make a motion for us to meet in closed session, at 7:37 PM.
For this item?
For item 1, project 2024-002.
That's it.
Motion made by Ms. Francis, seconded by Mr. Malone.
You need to vote on it, Mayor? You need to
Yes,
vote
I
on it.
do, yes, I do, we do. Council Morales, Councilman Morales. All in favor of going back there? Raise your hand.